Okay, as you're sitting at home on social media or maybe even watching TV, what is one aspect that pops out at you? Apart from the actual content, most people would say the advertisements. From the catchy slogans to trademark figures, advertising helps guide us to what we love. Now, behind the scenes of all this are the people in marketing. Over the years, I've grown to appreciate what these people do. In the future, I wish to pursue a field that challenges me, but is also exciting and interesting at the same time. A job in marketing gives me the best of both worlds, and so this year, I wish to see what this field was all about. And so far, I've been nothing but glad I chose to do this topic. My name is Nihar OW, and this is my original work presentation. So I'm 16 years old, and I'm a junior at Frisco High School. And I wanted to take a class that gave me real-world experience outside from just the classroom. So I decided to take ISM, and this is my first year in ISM. And apart from ISM, I'm involved in various extracurriculars like NHS, NTHS, and BPA and DECA. And I'm also on the tennis team. And ISM really allows me to exhibit my characteristics because I'm hardworking when I want to be, but I can also be relaxed if I want to be as well. And so my mission statement for this year is, throughout my journey in ISM, I plan to advance my knowledge in the field of marketing management and the jobs that surround it. By working alongside a mentor, I hope to gain a better understanding of my strengths and weaknesses to help guide me towards my future career. Exhibiting the qualities of hard work, dedication, and determination, I wish to contribute to the world of marketing because I strongly believe that I can make a difference in the way a company operates, allowing it to be more beneficial to the public. So a little bit about marketing management. So personnel in this field, they're responsible for managing the marketing, advertising, and promotional aspects in a company. And how large or how big your company is largely dictates your job descriptions. So for instance, if you're in marketing in smaller companies, you'll take up more of a wide role and you'll have more jobs. But if you're in a company such as like Frito-Lay, you'll probably only manage a certain small aspect of it. And in addition, people in marketing, they have to plan objectives. So they have to basically decide what they want to accomplish for each fiscal year. And if they don't really have anything new they want to add on, they have to expand current options. And in addition, they have to analyze trends and engage on social media. Because these days, it seems as if everyone has a social media account. So social media is a really great way to get your idea out to the public. So basically, even if you're not like young in age, you have to have sort of that mentality so you can reach your audience. And these are my interviews that I conducted. And my first one was with Mr. Flynn Decker. He's the Chief Marketing Officer at Wingstop. And this was my first interview, and Mr. Decker is like the highest you could be in marketing, and he works at Wingstop, which is a pretty reputable company. So I was really nervous going into my interview, but after I finished, I really got the confidence I needed to carry out through the rest of my interview process, as well as through just ISM in general. And he told me to do what you love, and he told me that he felt as if he had the best job in the world and that he didn't have to work a day in his life. So to me, someday I want to be at that stage because I know I won't be able to go to work every day if doing something I don't actually have a passion for. And he also told me that hard work pays off. And my next interview was with Mr. Ryan Condon. He's a brand manager for Doritos. So at least at Frito-Lay, each brand has one director and two managers below them. So he was one of the managers for Doritos. He told me in college that he took a lot of classes that like maybe they wouldn't benefit him in the future, but he had a real interest for. So he told me to branch out and learn something new in college, so to not limit your scope to just one thing. And since he works at Doritos, he gets a lot of incentives. So for instance, actually, he's not my mentor, but my mentor actually works with him, so I see him like maybe every couple of weeks. And he told me that he's actually getting to go to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks just because he works for Doritos, and Doritos is partnered with the NFL. And he gets like really low seats, so to me that's really cool. And this is only because he works at Doritos. And he told me when he was a kid, he necessarily wasn't the smartest kid or wasn't the most talented, but he also told me that hard work beats talent. So even if you're not the most gifted, you should work hard enough to make up for that. And then my next interview was with Mr. Jamie Stengel. He's also a brand manager, but he's works for the Rolled Gold Pretzels brand. And since he works for a smaller company within Frito-Lay, he told me about like the hardships he has to face. Like for instance, many people, they don't really like distribute the resources to that brand because it's not as popular as like Cheetos or Ruffles. But he also told me that since he works at such a smaller brand comparatively, the success is more like beneficial to him. So if he oversees everything in that company. So if he sees something go out to the public, the satisfaction that he gets, he told me, can't be matched by anything else. And he went to the University of Chicago, which is a really reputable school, and that was really cool. And he really opened my eyes to see how extensive this field was, because again, like how big your company is really dictates what jobs you do. And my fourth interview was with Miss Sarah Kate Sims. She's a customer manager for PepsiCo, and she works B2B, which is business to business. So she focuses on getting the products to other businesses rather than the consumers. All my other interviews were C2B, or B2C, which are businesses to consumers. So it's really cool to see the different like aspect to marketing, because she's trying to please other businesses rather than customers. And she actually didn't get her master's degree like my other interviewees, but she told me in some instances work experience might be more beneficial than education, because you're getting that real world experience. And my last interview was with Mr. Joe Reski. He's a marketing director of innovation at Frito-Lay, and he's my mentor this year. He went to the University of Texas at Austin for his undergrad and his MBA. So UT is a school that I'm considering right now, so it's really cool that he went there so he could really help me and decide what I want to do with my future. And he has a lot of experience, so I felt that he was more than qualified to be my mentor. And so far, it's been great, and I've been nothing but happy with my decision. And these are my research. So these are like the four main assessments that I wanted to share. And my first one was the steps to getting an MBA. And an MBA is a Master's of Business Administration. So if you want to go into like the management or like the director level in business, it's really important to get your MBA. And in order to get into a good school to get your MBA, you need to go to a reputable undergraduate school. And in that school, it's sort of like high school. You have to maintain a high GPA, you have to have good extracurriculars, and also you should get internships. Because if you want to go to get your MBA directly out of undergrad, you need some sort of work experience, so colleges know that you actually know what you're doing. And like high school, like we have SATs and ACTs, there's a test called the GMAT, and that's also really important. And then so I did another research assessment about just undergraduate colleges for business. And so in order to get into a good one, you have to show that you have actually have a passion and interest for business. Because a lot of people go into business because it's sort of like vague and you can basically do anything and they don't really know what they want to do. But if you want to get into a really good college for business, you have to show them that you actually have a passion for this field. And like getting into good MBA school, you have to have a high GPA and good test scores. And I researched 3 schools in particular. And my first one was the Kellogg School of Management over at Northwestern. And they have a 90% employment rate within the first, I think it's 3 or 6 months after graduation. And that was really high. And then the second school I researched was the McComb School of Business over at UT Austin. And UT is like high on my list because it's an in-state school, so the price isn't too expensive. But also it's like I'm not really compensating for anything because it's a really good school too. And it's located in Austin, which isn't too far away from Frisco, so it might be a good decision for me. And then the last school I researched was the Booth School of Business at the University of Chicago. When I went to Chicago over the summer, I didn't really take like a visit there, but I sort of like walked around it. And the University of Chicago, it's located right next to one of the Great Lakes. So like all the students, they're just like walking around there. So just the overall atmosphere of that college was really appealing to me. And they have an employment rate after graduation of 97%. And that's like unheard of these days. And then another research assessment I did was over the jobs surrounding marketing management. So I know I want to go into something in the field of business, but I'm just not 100% sure marketing is like the field for me, but I know it's something around this. And so the first field I researched was finance. So basically, finance is, I guess, it involves less creativity and more numbers. So it's more like analytical. So I'm not that bad at math, so finance might be another viable career for me. And then another field I researched was investment banking. So you'll basically see these people like on Wall Street. So they're responsible for like managing people's and other companies' money and like telling them where to put their money. And then if they can forecast that company's doing bad, they tell them to take it out. So it's really time consuming and involves a lot of long hours. But oftentimes the people's bonuses exceed their actual salary. So that might be another interesting job I could pursue. And then finally, another job I researched was jobs in sales. So basically, marketing is responsible for getting the ideas out there, and sales are responsible for getting those ideas to the customers. So it's more direct customer interaction. So that might be another job for me. And then my last research assessment that I did was just over the lessons that people in business have learned over the years. And it's basically a collection of like, I guess, passages of famous people in business. And the first lesson was that mistakes are okay. So if you want to succeed, you're going to end up making mistakes, and that's okay, but you should get up from them and learn from them in order to succeed. And then another lesson that they were talking about, and like every one of my interviewees were also talking about this, was getting an internship or a mentorship. Because you could go to the best college, but even the best college doesn't match real world experience. So getting internships or shadowing people in that field is a really good way to show that you're passionate about this field. And then another lesson that they were talking about is networking. So basically developing connections. So like, for instance, if I have my mentor right now, so if I'm going through college and then I graduate from college and I'm looking for a job, my mentor is probably going to be one of the people that recruits me. So instead of just going out there and just talking to people that you've never seen, if you already know people and they already know you and you have a connection with them, it's really easy to get a job. So you should always work on developing your network. And then another big lesson that everyone is talking about is that you should always strive to learn. So nobody's perfect and nobody knows everything, so you should always be looking to learn something new in order to expand your knowledge. And this is my original work. So for my original work, I wanted to do something that basically gave me sort of real-world exposure to what people in marketing have to basically do on a weekly basis. And a large part of marketing is basically presenting ideas to others. So I wanted to do something that involved that. So for my original work, I created a hypothetical business. And in doing so, I followed proper guidelines. So I took the same steps that people that actually want to propose a business or propose a new idea in a company have to follow. And in doing so, I maintained professionality. So I sort of got an idea of what it was like to do or to create a business. And when I proposed my idea, I had to ask myself two questions. So the first one was, is this beneficial to the public? So is this like something that's already out there, or is this something new that will really appeal to the audience? And then another question I asked myself was, how am I supposed to market this? So how am I supposed to get this idea out to others? So I decided to come up with Smart Tech, and I like made that logo too. And so I don't want to get into like too much details about the company, but basically the three main features are that consumers can buy, sell, or trade used electronics, and the trade is the most like our best selling feature because customers can buy and sell in one process, and it's not, that feature is not really out there right now, or even if it is, it's not the most effective because buying and selling cell phones especially can get really expensive. So I wanted to sort of make that process cheaper. And then on the right, I just projected my startup expenses and then my profits, and then estimated the total net gross of the first year. Okay, and then I wanted to ask myself, how am I supposed to market Smart Tech? So social media, because again, these days everyone has a social media account, so it's a really good way to reach a large audience without paying the price of TV. And then radio is also very cost efficient because it costs nowhere as near as local TV ads, but you can also reach a large audience. And then also, Mr. Resky, he was telling me that a good way to attract more consumers is to give them sort of incentives. So I decided to implement a referral program. So each friend referred along with the customer gets a $10 discount on their transaction. And even though $10 doesn't seem like a lot, the consumers, they'll really be appealed to this and they'll be more likely to come back again. So for my original work, I learned that like proposing a business and even proposing an idea just for a company is very interesting and exciting. And in doing my original work, I got real-world experience of what marketing personnel have to go through on a weekly basis. And it showed me, however, how much hard work and dedication is required. But this is easily compensatable, or it's easily compensated by how much fun I had in doing so. And it also told me that hard work truly does pay off, because after I completed this, I actually felt satisfied in myself. And this leads me to my quote, which is, embrace the pain to inherit the gain. So in life, you're going to go through many hardships and you're going to have to work hard at many times. But the feeling of achieving your goal after putting in all that effort, it can't be matched by anything else. And to me, my original work really showed me how that can be applied to a real-world scenario. So in the future, I want to use what I learned so far to make a difference. I know that sounds sort of cheesy, but I really want to impact a person in a positive way. For my future job, I want to have fun, but at the same time, I also want to work hard. I want something that's challenging, but not easy. And so in college, I want to obviously go to a business school. And then as I'm going through the school, I want to also remain in contact with my mentor, because already he's helped me so much, and I know that he'll be able to help me more in the future. So far, this year's been a great experience. I can't wait to see all that I have left to learn. I know that if I keep working hard while also enjoying what I do, anything is possible. Thank you.